All right, thank you everyone for joining for the summer program for undergraduate research faculty mentor info session. This is the OUR education series. We know that the start of the semester is incredibly busy for folks. So we want to thank you all for joining us amidst your busy first week. We hope things are going swimmingly and that you are having fun meeting those wonderful young folks who are interested in learning from you. This is a virtual event and it is being recorded, so please mute yourself, turn your camera off to ensure we all have an optimal experience. And if you have questions, feel free to use the chat feature or unmute yourself when we invite you to speak. We're going to kind of go through a presentation and then at the end we'll open it up for question and answer. But feel free that if you have a question, don't wait until the end. Go ahead and throw it in chat and we can see if we can respond to it then or if we'll respond to it at the end. You are joining the Office of Undergraduate Research, and our mission is to facilitate and promote undergraduate student faculty collaborative research across the disciplines here at the University of Utah. So thank you all for your commitment to mentoring. We also want to acknowledge a land that feeds and sustains us. This land, which is named for the Ute tribe, is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshu, and Ute tribes. And we know that our university recognizes and respects the enduring relationship that exists between many Indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands, and respects the sovereign relationship between tribes, states, and the federal government, and commits to partner with Native nations and urban Indian communities through research, education, and community outreach activities. I've been talking already, so you're wondering who is that voice? My name is Dr. Annie Isabel Fukushima. I'm the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies, and I run the Office of Undergraduate Research. I'm joined by my colleague who will introduce herself, Angie.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Angie Leiva, Academic Program Manager here for the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I am the point of contact for the summer program for undergraduate research.
Yes, thank you. So, one of the things that we know about undergraduate research is that it is a public good. So we want to thank you all for that commitment, that the role of higher education and as an institution is a public good when we facilitate opportunities for students who eventually become alumni, future researchers, scholars, problem solvers, leaders in our community, that we know that all the work that you do in mentoring is supporting our students moving forward and communities generally. This past summer, we had a range of research projects from solving cardiovascular complications, addressing oil spills and microplastics, cancer research, engineering wearable robotics, addressing social issues, including the criminal justice system, healthcare, and more. So tons of research that was contributing to how our university is facilitating a public good by mentoring the future scholars, workforce, community members. And that we know that many of our students, by participating in research, they are making decisions about their careers, if they want to go into graduate school. And also, it really strengthens their science, research, and creative identities. And so we also know that undergraduate research, really supports our students in participating in the research enterprise. So I want to thank all of you for facilitating that. Over the past 2 years, nearly 600 students have applied every year to work at the university, to work with our faculty at the University of Utah. These students have been students representing a range of institutions across the United States. And so we know that this summer program is incredibly nationally competitive. We wish we could hire them all, but unfortunately, we can only select the competitive few to work with our competitively selected faculty. This past summer, just so you have a little bit of a sense of the range, is that students represented 82 different institutions from across the United States this summer through the Undergraduate Research Symposia in partnership with our summer program partners and also our SPUR faculty mentors, is that we supported about 250, I think it was actually 260 researchers this summer. We know that by mentoring students, you are supporting our students with our university's mission to retain them towards graduation. Our program, the Office of Undergraduate Research, our OUR, has wonderful stats on how we are supporting that. And we can't do the work without our faculty mentors. Our students who participate in our undergraduate research programs graduate in 4 years. 58% of them graduate in 4 years, as well as 90% graduate in 6 years. So we know that by mentoring students, we are having an impact. They feel more connected to their mentors, connected to the research, connected to the community. And that we know that those that want to go into the workforce, 78% were employed within a year of graduating. So really great work happening because of undergraduate research. And so one of the things, there's a range of ways that you can support summer research, and we're going to talk about a very specific one with the summer program for undergraduate research, but we do collaborate with faculty who have their own funds that use NIH, NSF, REUs, a range of funding, even private donors to support researchers. So we do partner with faculty, and we'll talk very briefly at the end about that, but we're really going to focus on if you're interested in applying to be a mentor for the summer program for undergraduate research. And we also have other funding like scholarships and stuff like that, but we're not here to talk about that today. We're really excited to talk about SPUR. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Angie back, who's already introduced herself. She's going to tell you a little bit about this.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Fukushima. And so if you're curious, that picture before was from this last group, 2025. Yeah, at the end of the summer, we do like to take a group photo. And this was from the Undergraduate Research Symposium, which we'll talk a little bit about. But yeah, that was our group. Yeah, super fun. And so, yeah, great group. And so more about the program. So summer program for undergraduate research, also known as SPUR, is a nationally competitive 10-week summer research experience. And it is where students come to the University of Utah and they work under the mentorship of faculty. And the program does provide opportunities for them to gain research experience under a variety of disciplines. And so for SPUR 2026, the program will run May 18th through July 31st, 2026. It is a full-time program where students are expected to work or, spend 35 to 40 hours a week on research with their faculty mentor, and they will also be working on program-related activities. And these activities do include the opening orientation, launch lunch-in, which faculty are invited, and it's just a nice welcoming ceremony where we like to, introduce the program. Everybody gets to come. It's a nice ceremony. Bi-weekly meetings to support professional development. Those are facilitated by myself and Dr. Fukushima. We do have the education series, which supports learning beyond the classroom. And then we do have the graduate school mini expo, which we do with the graduate school for graduate school preparation. And then the students also participate in research dissemination. They present at the Undergraduate Research Symposium at the end of the program, and they do publish in the Range, the Undergraduate Research Journal. So students participate in the program, they are hired as temporary employees by OUR. Participants do receive a $5,000 stipend that is distributed throughout the duration of the program to work with faculty on the research project. On-campus housing is optional. All student participants do have access to University of Utah ID cards. So this does provide them free public transportation access and access to university libraries as well as Box. Non-University of Utah participants relocating to Utah for the duration of the program may be eligible to receive travel support up to $500. And so eligibility for faculty to be mentors, tenure and career line faculty at the U are eligible to apply. Evidence of being able to commit and stay at the U for the duration of the program. So being able to, be on site, on campus for that May 18th through July 31st is really important. As well as faculty can serve to be mentors for up to 2 consecutive summers before they would need to cycle out. So basically take a break before they could serve again as mentors.
Yeah, and this is just to ensure that, we have a diversity of faculty that we support. At the U, there's, 5,000 professors here. And so we want to make sure that we're not favoring our friends and that we have a variety of faculty who are able to cycle in. And here you may see that postdocs are eligible. That should be ineligible, actually. We used to have postdocs be eligible when we were able to support more, but it's so competitive, and that what has happened before is some postdocs leave because they get a job. And so, which is great. We want them to get a job. And so really we are prioritizing this tenure line and career line faculty at the U. And so thanks for that information. I'm going to talk a little bit about the application side of things, but I do want to say that all those things that Angie talked about, Angie does for you. So just know that you are not hiring your student. We are the ones, and by we, I mean Angie, is the one recruiting the students from all of our AAU institutions. She's reaching out to other universities. She's collecting all those applications. And then when the faculty are competitively selected, you get to review them, and we talk about that later once faculty are selected, all those processes. So none of this will be a mystery. We are going to be holding your hands the whole way, supporting you. Even Angie works with Cade, who is our new outreach coordinator, to make social media assets to promote it. We're promoting it. We want students to know about working with all of you. But now you're probably interested in knowing a little bit more about the application process. So you're here because you are faculty interested in being a SPUR mentor. And so just a little bit of a overview of the application requirements is you have to provide a background, project background, information about the student role. So what will they be doing? Student learning outcomes and benefits, and your mentoring philosophy. I'm going to talk about these top four. But the photo submission is just as a reminder, it's something we like to use. If you're selected, that photo will be used to promote your project. And so while we love all those photos of everybody standing in a line, I really want to ask you not to submit that because it doesn't give the student the action orientation of what is happening. And sometimes ours is we're sitting at a computer, I'm sure. But there's other aspects. Maybe you have taken your students on hikes as part of the mentoring team building things or something like that. So we do encourage those more action-oriented photos so they can be enticed into it. Some of the things I'm going to go over is the project background. This is what is the research and why is it important? We want you to remember you are writing for undergrads. And so this is not going to be an NSF application or it was something that your peers are going to be sciencing out of. We really need you to speak for the undergrad audience, have them understand the significance and importance of what they would be joining if they applied for your opportunity. You also want to highlight why this project is innovative and speak to a wide range of audiences and students. And so really consider limiting the use of jargon. Sadly, if you are selected and yours is slightly jargony, Angie has seen me do this, I will kick it back to you and I will say, please redo this. And so remember, it will be read by students. So speak to a wide range of students and describe the research and the work. Like, why is this important? You know it's important. We know you know it's important. Entice them with the importance. Other aspects of the application is you'll have a section that you'll have to talk about the student role. What will the student be working on if they're accepted to work with you? We really need you to be specific about all of the tasks and the different things that they will be doing, as well as the training they may have to do. So then that way, when the student applies for the opportunity with you, should you be selected, they are not surprised. They are literally, they signed up for this. And so we just want that to be really clear. And also is a good way to entice the student because they may be wanting to develop certain skills. And so they will see that in the buffet of things that they will be doing with you. We do need you to offer your student learning outcomes. And so how will this particular experience prepare the student for their future, right? What is the outcome of collaborating with you? Will it lead to future publications or, future innovations, whatever that might be? Share with them what they will get out of this experience. Um, we do also have a section on mentoring philosophies, and this is like there's some examples here that I just wanted to highlight because I think we're looking at my screen, right? Okay, good. Sorry, I just had a moment where I was like, have I been talking at them and no one's been seeing my screen? Sorry, I had a moment, folks. One of the things I'm going to share with you all is a little bit about some examples here. Can you still see this, Angie?
Yes.
Okay, great. Here's an example of a mentoring philosophy. What in this one, there's clear in Dr. Teasley's, who submitted on behalf of honors, goals, their communication, and expectations, right? And so they talk about their goals here. We see that really popping up, right? As well. And it's really seems to be important, right? That it's all about goals. As well as here if when you read it there is some specific things that the student's going to get out of this, but they also talk about communication, right? Dr. Teasley is sharing the kind of philosophy behind how he mentors goals oriented communication. um, Another example is Dr. Shiri's that I wanted to share with you is and this one, it's a little bit shorter, but here what we see in this one is that they're talking about the lab context. So then the student knows I'm not going to be only working with Professor Shiri. I'm also going to be working with these other folks, right? And so they talk about this lab environment that this person will be imbricated in. Professor Zumos, I think here what I found really interesting is talks a ton about trust, collaboration, and the future potential of a publication, right? This is important for them. They talk about is grounded in strong, trusting relationships and responsiveness. And so that's important because this is what Professor Zumo is going to be also looking for in a student who's responsive, a student who desires also a mutually trusting partnership and all of that. Just wanted to highlight some of the words that they're using that really reflects their own different styles. For Professor Small, it was about independence and collaboration. Not all projects are independent working. They actually really require students to work in a team-based model. Collaboration matters. But for this one, Professor Small, who it's very common in the social sciences for them to be more independent in the work that they're doing. That's highlighted in here. They use those keywords as well as, but they also need some collaboration to happen too. So you're seeing the students going to go back between the different aspects. The selection process for SPUR is competitive. The way that we do this is that when you submit, a committee reviews and scores and ranks each application. The committee emphasizes student learning outcomes and the mentoring philosophy. So these are really important. Um, and some of the activities that you'll do, because we want to have a faculty who is going to be mentoring a student who is going to work full time in the summer because the office will be paying them. We really do encourage you to provide more details, as well as you should know that our review process is a committee reviews. And then once they provide recommendations, it goes up to the Office of Undergraduate Research Advisory Council, who then approves the decisions and then offers go out once that council approves it. That's a little bit about our selection process. And we do have a purchase option. And so if a faculty mentor wants to actually purchase a spot, we use that phrase. I know it sounds a little weird because you're like, oh, I'm buying a student, but really it's purchasing a spot for a student. So if you have your own funds, we can always talk through that. Just send Angie and me a message, and we can do an MOU. You only need to decide by March 1st, but you should know the later you decide, then the later you are actually not going to be part of the recruitment process. Then that means you must have a student in mind, or we can always promote it through other channels, but you won't be part of our big push. So if you really do want to use your own funds to be part of this process, then we encourage you to let the office know. If a faculty is selected, some faculty have actually expanded the pocket because they're like, you know what, I want to have two students because it's so competitive and they're so amazing. So that's what we encourage. As far as how much does it cost, it's up to $8,000 to purchase a single student spot. That includes the student's salary as well as fees, as well as housing. And so that's what you're looking at. And if you're interested in that, and again, a meeting is always necessitated, but Angie and I can always work through some of that since there's some fun stuff, as in I'm going to be on leave. And so I have committed to making sure that something like this moves forward if you're interested in partnering with the office. But that's a separate thing from SPUR. So as a SPUR faculty, you are not required to purchase a spot. We, the office, are providing the money to ensure your student is fully supported, onboarded, hired, and all of that, working with our embedded HR person and all of that. But if you want additional students, if you're selected, we welcome that. If you are not selected, you're also invited to still, if you have your own funds, if you'd like to collaborate in this way. And you should just know, we do work with a lot of partners this way because literally we don't have an unending wealth of funds to fund every student. And so some of the things you should know is then a person who purchases a spot becomes a formal partner with the office, where there's opportunities to learn about different ways that the office supports campus partners, including knowledge about how to mentor, as well as the ways that other mentors are going about supporting their teams. And it creates more visibility for you and your research team if you do want to formally go from not just purchasing a spot, but actually becoming a program partner. And so if you're intrigued and you want to apply, Angie, am I punting it over to you now? Um,
Yep.
yeah, because this is all Angie. So you're intrigued. Angie and I have sold it. You're gonna apply. And so Angie's gonna talk a little bit about this and then we'll open it up for questions. So handing it over to Angie.
Thank you. Yeah. And so just to keep in mind, deadline. So if you are interested in applying, the application is currently open. The deadline to apply is Friday, October 3rd. You can find the application on our website. If you are going through the website and you're having any issues like applying, you have any questions, anything like that, you can contact me directly, and I'm more than happy to assist you. But yeah, all that information, everything we went over is on the website. If you have any issues, again, you can always contact me. I'm more than happy to help out.
Yeah, and so we do use InfoReady, which is you should all know about it because that's what the VPR uses for their application systems if you're applying for seed grants or other internal competitions. So you should be using InfoReady. And if you have any issues using it for some reason, just let Angie know and she can get you connected to the right folks. InfoReady has been incredibly responsive to any kinds of issues. No, we're actually not using InfoReady. We're using FormStat. It's a regular
That's
survey
correct.
form. Your students will be using InfoReady. Sorry, gave you the wrong information. So you'll be using FormStat, which is like Qualtrics, a regular form. You shouldn't have any issues. If you submit and you have any issues though, and you submit the wrong thing or you want to resubmit, just let Angie know. She is the one who will be managing all of those lovely logistics, and she's really here to help you out. So that's a little bit about applying for it. We'd like to just now open it up. This is a short presentation. We're not here to hold you for a ton of time. We just wanted to make sure our mentors are aware of the opportunities and all of that. And so any questions coming up for folks, you can unmute yourself and just ask your question, or you can use the chat if you'd like to ask any questions.
Annie, someone in the chat asked how much it cost to purchase a spot.
Yes, so I already responded to that and I said up to $8,000. That is what it will cost to purchase a spot. And yes, go ahead. Paulina, am I saying your name correct? Please correct me if I'm incorrect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is correct. So I have a question about combining this with Delphi support. So I got a seed grant from Delphi, which covers 2 undergraduate students for fall and spring semester, but then they will be graduating. So I was thinking that would be really nice to continue the project next summer. And would it be okay if that's sort of the same project which we submitted to Delphi, but
Uh,
just on the final phases? So Delphi funding is only 30,000, and we will use it all, I think, by the end of the spring semester. Then we will continue that work in the summer, and the undergraduate student which would work in the summer would get to participate in the publication as co-author.
Sure. One thing you should know is that the program requires that when students apply, they have to be matriculated in a university in the United States in the following fall. So if you are working with mentees and they're graduating that spring, they would not be eligible. Angie, is that correct? I just want to
Oh
confirm
yeah,
that's
no,
correct.
I want the new
Uh,
students. I don't want those students. Those students
oh,
actually graduating and leaving.
oh, I see. Okay, great. And I'm sure
Yeah,
they were great. Okay, good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you didn't
yeah.
want the same students. Okay, great. Yes. And so if you have other concepts, that's how research works. People are literally continuing to do their research and build it out. We know research takes time. What we are offering is funds to support you by hiring a student and all of that. So yeah, if you have an ongoing project, we love those things. And so do encourage you if it's an ongoing project to go ahead and submit it. Sure.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
yeah, and just something to keep in mind though is the student will be working full time. So if the data collection is done, the question is what will they be doing in the summer? And so that will make it a weaker
Oh, we
project.
use, yeah, so we don't do data collection. We use electronic health record databases, which contain data, they identify data from millions of patients. So it's
Sure.
very computationally heavy. And I think half of their training really will be just learning how to use big
Mhm.
data with access to CHPC,
Mhm.
Python. So we'll need someone who already have a lot of computational background, and then they will have to work hard to learn more
Ah,
computational background. And then for the
yeah,
Romanian, they can
yeah,
actually do the work. And
yeah.
um, it's actually, we can do a lot of smaller projects too with emulated clinical trials.
Mm,
These huge data sets are kind of new, so we are still exploring
sure,
how well this data could
sure.
be used and how useful they are.
That sounds great. One thing, because you said you would like them to have computational data experience or along those lines. If that's the case, you might want to have that somewhere in your application. So should you be selected, then students who apply actually know that that would be a preferred quality that you have as a team. If you are fine with working with a student who has zero experience with computational
No.
analysis, then you could always say that we welcome all experiences. But yeah, if you need some level, just so students don't apply and then wonder, oh, why didn't I get selected? Well, because they had zero experience or expressed zero experience, even if they may have had some. And so that's
Mhm.
yeah, that would be just the encouragement. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
10 weeks. 10 weeks is just a really short time for this computationally heavy project. There is not much you can do unless they
Yeah,
completed a couple of years in computer science department.
yeah, that's great. Other questions from folks? Well, we should just expect to see your applications then, because you're here, because you're expressing an interest. So please do submit. If you have general questions, please do reach out to the office, or you can actually for the SPUR faculty applications, reach out to Angie directly. I'm happy to answer questions, but Angie's going to be a lot faster, so I would suggest just go ahead and reach out to her. We're really here to support you, and if you have any mentees you think should join our listserv, we encourage you to let them know about it so they can get information about what we do. But we want to thank you for joining us at our session just to get up to date on this application opportunity. And thank you for mentoring, folks. So enjoy the rest of your day of a Friday. And congratulations on completing the first week. Only 14 more weeks to go. All right, folks. Thank you.